Welcome to Juggling and Manipulation for the 8th of May. Oh, yeah, I almost said March. But it's May now. This is exciting. Juggling class today. For those of you joining me live, how are you going? Some hype in the chat. Let's have a look at the plan for today. So I'm mixing it up today. Gonna play with some balls for a little bit. Look at a pirouette or a 360. Then we'll have a look at some tricky tricks with some clubs. So they're not that tricky, but they're tricky if you know what I mean. And then if anyone's got some juggling rings, we're gonna have a little play with some stuff, some spins, spinning on your fingers, getting it spin, some grinds, some split throws. So we'll have a cool little trick to combo together at the end if you do have some juggling rings. So let's get warm. We should do a little. Oops, they're not that tricky, but they're tricky if you know what I mean. Yeah, let's do a little warm up. So let's start with some arm circles. Just get those elbows nice and warm. Let's grasp our hands and do some rolls. Pull back on your arm one way, the other. Make sure you got enough room. Let's try and do some spins forwards and back and swap directions. Alright, let's do our neck. My neck was quite sore last night, so I think a nice warm up for that. So I like to take both my hands and squeeze the back of my neck like so, and then just nod my head up and down. Shake your head from side to side. Then let's just roll to one side and push down with our opposite hand. I want to feel that stretch right in there. And the other side. Alright, roll those shoulders back. Okay, so first thing we want to have a play with is with some balls. We're going to have a look at how to do a pirouette or a 360 under your juggling. So there's a couple of things that we need to work on for that. So the two main aspects that you need to work on is a nice high throw. The second thing is a nice fast pirouette. So let's have a look at our high throw to start with. So what's going to be really important with a pirouette in your juggling is a nice high accurate throw. And we're going to want to make sure we really separate our throw from our pirouette. You don't want those two things going into each other. Otherwise, if you start spinning as you throw, your ball goes through a window. So let's just practice a high throw. So it's not very high. I'm going to go reasonably high. Let's say you want to aim for something like 3 meters. I don't know if you've got anything to mark in your house, but probably like your height again would be a good aim. So try both hands, try and do a nice high throw. And what we want to work on with this is our accuracy. Because when we're doing these high throws, you want to be able to hit that point, spin, hand out, know you're going to catch it. So we're going to go really high, and you want to try and catch it without stepping. So practice that a few times. Good. Let that ball up. See if you can figure out when it's going forwards. Think about your posture, where your weight is. So make sure your feet are shoulder width apart. You don't want all your weight on your toes. Bring your weight back a bit. And then try. Oh, nice. Okay, so that's your high throw. Hopefully that's feeling good. The next thing we want to work on is our pirouette. So, a couple of things to take into account for this. One is what surface you're on, what footwear you've got on. So shoes can be, depending on your shoes, they can be quite grippy. So I am currently in socks. So just depending on, if you're on carpet, socks can be good. You might like a barefoot, or you might have a nice pair of shoes that does work well, or you might have a nice shiny wooden floor that you can spin on. So I'll let you figure out for yourself what works for that. So have a little play. But your socks can be good for spinning, for practicing. Then the next thing that you want to think about then is when we do our pirouette, let's you think about spotting to start with. So this is you might know this from dance or lots of other things, but spotting is you're going to pick a spot to look at. So, I could look at a little green dot on my camera on the laptop, and you're going to look at that. When you spin, you want to keep looking at that for as long as you can. So your body's turning until you need to turn your head, and then your head is going to come around to look at that again, okay? So it's turning your body as much as you can, and your head then spins around as fast as you can to get ahead of your body. So it's behind your body, and then it's the first thing. So you want to try and look at that spot for as long as you can. So it'd be good to pick something that's eye level. Look at that. So even if you're just practicing spotting without doing a proper pirouette, so just like this, just turning, head's the last one. So hopefully your neck is warm enough after our little warm up. Cool. Next thing you want to think about for this is your position you're standing in for your pirouette. Now, when I had to do ballet at circus school, we would start with 1 foot behind us. So that was great for your pirouette. Arm up, bring your arms together, up on 1 foot. It's really nice, looks good, gets a lot of power. So it's good to practice some of those. But we will have an issue with that for our juggling. So let's just practice some of that just to get an idea. So I'm going to spin on my left foot, and now I spin on my toes. It's your call. You can also spin on your heels. Play around with what you like, but let's try this just as a kind of warm-up to think about some of the technique involved in a pirouette. So I'm going to start with 1 foot behind me. I should show you what I mean. So I'm starting 1 foot behind, and I'm going to come up onto my toes as I spin. Okay, now I'm not super worried about you guys getting a perfect pirouette ballet styles, but we just want to do a practice of that just to help get some of these fundamentals. So we're going to start my front leg, my arms forwards. I'm going to spot, look ahead. I'm going to bring my arm in, bring my leg up, so toe to knee, as I spin. And remember, I'm trying to spot, so I'm trying to look at that point. My head comes around for it. So practice that a few times. So arm up, look, and come up onto your toe, and you're trying to get back to the front. So that's nice little that's a nice pirouette. There's nicer ones out there, but for a juggler, you don't want to be juggling, throw a ball up, step back, go into your spin. And you juggling, you can't have these lovely balletic arms. So some things to think about for a juggling pirouette is, if we're sticking our legs up, we've got our arms out, that's actually going to slow us down. So the tighter you can hold in, the faster you can spin. So I want you to now try, we're going to do a pirouette, feet together, arms stuck in the side, and we're going to go from just shoulder width apart. So instead of 1 foot behind, we're going to just start shoulder width apart, and we're going to spin feet together. Okay, and so from the top half, that's going to look more like, so we're just trying to squeeze in tight, and you can choose whether you're on your toes or your heels, and maybe play with both for a bit. So I want you to just practice your pirouettes. So, and I want you to try this from a juggling position. So, arms out, and we're going to spin. We're really trying to get as fast as we can, because there's people doing 720s under juggling pad and stuff like that. So you can get a lot of spins. It's all about doing that nice tight spin. So I want you to think about, as soon as you're finished, arms up. Okay, so practice a couple of those. Okay, now when you're doing it, the next one, what I want you to think about as well is we're going to try this. We're going to try and imagine we're juggling. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and recreate how a pirouette will work in our juggling pattern. So I want you to look up at the high ball you've thrown. Now, what we're not going to want to do is keep looking at that, because that's going to mess up our posture if we turn looking at the ball the whole time. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw the ball up, look at it, just to gauge that it's a good throw. It's going to come down somewhere where you're going to be able to catch it. Then you're going to come down, do your pirouette, find your spot, and then look back up for the ball. So my friend Paulie referred to this as taking a picture in your mind. So you want to go, there's the ball, boom, spin, back to it so you can see it before you catch it. So I know it's a lot of little steps, but we're going to try and break these things down so we can put them together so they work effectively. So what we're going to do again is we're going to throw, we're not throwing the ball yet, we're imagining we're throwing the ball though. We're going to throw the ball up, bring our eyes down so we can do a fast pirouette, then look back up for it, okay? So I want you to practice that without throwing the ball yet. Just pretend, throw, pirouette, up. So try and not keep looking up. So we're going to throw up, spin, come back for it. All right, now if you're feeling ready, feeling good, trying that with our ball, okay? So we're going to go throw the ball, look, make sure it's a nice throw, spin, catch it in the opposite hand, okay? So here we go. Boom. So hopefully if you're getting a nice high throw, nice fast spin, there should be a lot of time for you to get around and catch it. Then it's just a matter of actually reorientating yourself once you're there to actually be able to catch it. So up, spin, look back for the ball. So up, look at the ball, spot, pirouette, come back up. And you want to try and make sure you practice this one on both sides. Alright, so there is the pirouette under one ball. So practice that, practice. And then when you're ready, you're going to be able to try that. Stay. You're going to be able to practice that I'd say you just want to start this off with a one-up pirouette. So we're just going to try and get one ball. So once you're comfortable with your pirouette, you can catch the ball. Now try not to reach up for it. Let it come down to you is always an important thing with any juggling. Trying that in a 3-ball pattern. So again, just practice your high throw from both sides, because eventually you want to be able to do a pirouette under 360, a 3-up 360, so all 3 balls up, boom. So you want to make sure you get this with both hands. So practice those high throws, high throw, and high throw. Alright? Then when we try it with all three, we're going to throw up. You're just going to hold the other two balls in your hand. Go back into your juggling pattern when you get back around. So, threw that one a little bit high, bounced off the roof. Okay, blue ball up. Alright, and I don't think I'm quite getting around far enough, so that's a big thing, is trying to make sure you come back to the front completely. Let's try left hand. Oh, that went back to my left hand. There we go. Alright, and just for fun, 3 up. Need to practice that one a bit more, get that tidy enough to get it every time. But yeah, like any trick, you got to put some time in to it to get that nice and solid. But that is a little pirouette work for you. So if you have any questions about that, chuck that in the comments, and we can have a look at that later again. But let's just jump back to the plan. Is this one. So, clubs. Get your clubs handy. Hopefully you've got 3 clubs or 3 wooden spoons you could try this with. 3 utensils of any sort. Not going to work as well, but be a fun little thing to play with. So, what we're going to have a play with right now is a little thing called Legos. So Legos, once again, quoting the top New Zealand juggler, Paul. He calls them Legos because he doesn't let go of the club. Just a little shout out for Paul there. But yeah, what we're going to be doing is playing with some of these ideas. Okay, so just to go over a few things, this is the knob of the club, the end of the club, and the middle of the club, obviously. So what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold one club in the middle of the club, and then the other club, you're going to hold the knob. I like to hold it between these 2 fingers. So you're making a little T, okay? This is one of the key grips you want to get down for Legos. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be transferring the club that I'm holding in the middle. So club number 1, this one, I'm going to put the knob of that into my other hand. Okay? Then, to start with, we're going to have this other club, the one that I'm holding the knob of. This one, I'm going to hold it straight up, and I'm going to let go, and it's going to drop down. And our goal is going to be to catch that. So, let's just go over there again from the start. So, holding one club in the middle, we're going to hold the knob in that same hand of another club. Okay, so we're making a little T. One's in the middle, one you're holding at the knob. You're going to bring the knob, the free knob, from the club with 2 hands, up to the other hand. Grip. And then you're going to try and let go and catch the other club as it falls down, okay? So, I bring my hand back, grab onto it. It's all just trying to get that nice floaty feel. So you can let this club drop out, down. I'd say it's going to be hard if you're dropping it away from you, but if you drop it towards yourself a little bit, like back this way, as opposed to letting it go that way, and you're having to reach past, but both do work. So now, hopefully that makes some sense. You're getting this to work. It's a nice little feeling when you can get this to flow. You can bring those arms up and it swings round. Now, next one we're going to try from this is, one thing I want you to try and get with this is it's almost like if you can balance the club on here for a moment, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to catch. Try and slow it down for you. Boom, 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 boom. So only so much I can slow down though. Alright. So next step we can try from there is this grip that I showed you, we're just holding this club loosely so this can swing in our hands, and we're going to, you know how I was saying, if we hold it up here, so I'm just holding that finger's up there to keep that in place, and then I'm going to let it drop down towards me on the outside of my arm, okay? Then eventually we'll do this, but, oh no, actually we will need to do that for you to get this. So, once again, the free knob is going to go into the other hand. Got that now. And what I'm going to be trying to do is almost lifting this club, the one that I let drop down, with my forearm, I lift it up and I twist my arm to catch that club. So this is a bit of a tricky one. So we'll go through it a bit slower. So, T, straight up. I'm going to let it drop down on the outside of my arm. I'm not trying to get it in here. So once again, from the T, down on the outside, grip here. And then you can even twist the whole thing 90 degrees. So right now, this club's vertical. Twist it so it's horizontal. Now I'm trying to catch this club resting on my arm. So you can let it drop down, come up 90 degrees, and if you just push that arm into that club so it's twist out. So you're using that force, that pushing it up to make sure it doesn't fall and to assist in that rotation. So the other way that you can do it, or another way you can do it, is if I let this club drop down and catch it. So if you leave that club facing straight down, you're going to let go of it, and your arm is going to twist to catch it. So it's here, and it's going to twist to grab. Boom. Boom. So let it drop down outside of the arm. Twist, catch. So that is some Lego stuff, and I want to show you a little extension on that, one that I like. So you can add in a little thumb spin. So if you haven't done a thumb spin before, let's have a look at it from the side. We're trying to keep the club flat, horizontal, and I'm going to push it down. So this is, the head is going to my outside, so it's coming around, and we're trying to keep it nice and flat, re-catch. So it's just, you give it a little push, let it spin over your fingers, re-catch. So a little like, imagine a helicopter spin, like the propellers, you're trying to keep it nice and flat. So I give it a push with, like, I want to call this the butt of my hand, but I mean like the butt of your thumb. I use that to give it a push, let it spin round. So then when we're doing as we're bringing this club up and over, I let the other hand do a little spin. So catch, go up and over. So that's the club that boom I've just caught. It's now one in my hand. I can do a little spin. And you can also make this movement bigger. So you can do that over your head. So this big sweep over your head. Big sweep over your head. So let's just have a recap of what we've just gone over. So Legos, start with the T. Start with one club, hold in the middle. In between your two fingers, hold the other club. You can try this with out the other club, but up, gonna drop. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go up, drop, up, drop, up, drop. I actually dropped it that time. Then we've got dropping that club from the top, letting it drop on the outside of your arm, turning 90 degrees. Catch. Let it drop, turn 90 degrees. Catch, sorry. Okay, and then if you want, you can add in a little spin, make those movements flourish more. And you can have a little play with this. You can do lots of different things with this. So this is Legos. That's just like one of the first steps. Well, a couple of the first steps that I've then put my own little things onto. Another nice one you can do is, instead of holding the knob in your T, you're going to hold the top of the club. You're going to grab the top of the other club, and then this club here, the one that we're originally holding the top of in our T, we're going to try and get it to a little flip into our hand. So from here, we're just going to twist it up, and you can really use your fingertips to help flick that, so you can really let go of that, get a nice little throw. I'm just going to back up a little bit. Just give you guys another little view of everything. So here, drop it down. T, oh, T, drop it down. T, drop it down. Flip, catch. And then holding the top. Flip, flip. Just a little half throw. Okay, then one other thing that I like to fit in with this stuff as well is a trap catch. So let's just go to two clubs for this. Now you've got one club that you're holding, and I want you to practice here. Use your wrist to bring the knob to your forearm, okay? This is what you're going to use to trap the club, okay? So to start with, I just want you to even just hold a club in front of you, trap. And you can do a little throw. So just a little floaty into the air, trap it, okay? Now, something we should notice as well though is I want you to turn around the club that you're catching and trap it. Now I want you to notice, so this club that I have trapped can either be on the outside or the inside, okay? So that's important that you know the difference and that you can do both. So then, then what we can do from there, let's just have a little play with that. Oh, and make sure you do this on the other side as well. So let's practice left hand. Oh, you can practice right, left, right. Okay, so now let's just go back to one club for a moment and just practice your cascade throw. So maybe you hold it in the middle, let it slide down to the knob. Let it slide down to the knob. Your hand moves down, throws here, throws here. Okay, so this is maybe a bit tricky, but let's give it a go. It's a bit of practice and you'll get it. So we're going to do a nice throw. We want to try and get our cascade throw just to be a nice sensible throw, and then you can do that track catch. Oh, I almost need to be a little bit higher for you to see that nicely. So, club is in the air doing its lovely cascade. You're going to open up, let it drop down, trap, and see we're catching that one on the outside. And on the other side, cool. So, one more thing with that trap catch then is we can combine this. So we've got our T holding it in the knob, drop it onto the outside of our arm, and then we're going to try and do, you know how I said we lift our arm, we lift up, trap catch. Once again, so let that drop up and over on the outside of our arm to trap catch. Oh, sorry, so slow that down. So, you know, we can rest it on our arm, float up. The tail of that one we're going to bring around. Trap catch. Okay? So, juggle, 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 trap catch. Clubs are a lot of fun for some cool manipulation stuff. Once you get a few things under your belt, the world's your oyster. Just putting together some of this Lego stuff. Trap, boom, into a multiplex. There's lots of fun to be had. Alright, grab a drink of water. Alright, so that's been some balls and some clubs. And then what I wanted to bring out today is some rings. So I've actually spent quite a bit of time in the last year working on my rings. Oh, to get a tight little juggling routine together, which is now probably a little bit out of practice, assuming I haven't practiced my routines in lockdown. But let's have this isn't going to talk about me, this is a juggling lesson. So, if you do have juggling rings, please let me know if you find this useful. So we've got a lot of stuff we can have a look at. So I'm going to show you some stuff that I learned from Joe Fisher, who is an amazing juggler from Tasmania. I met him at Slipstream when I was head trainer there over in Ulverston. So he showed me some stuff that I'm going to share with you. So big shout out to Joe Fisher, one of the best jugglers in Australasia, if not further afield. So this one finger ring on your finger, you're going to give it a little spin. So you're just going to be doing a little circle in there to keep that going on your little finger. Well, not your little finger. Use a big one. Okay, so now from there, if we think about the 4 directions, north, south, east, west. I don't know if that's backwards on your screen. I get confused by cameras, what they show. This is my right hand. But yeah, so let's try not to get too confused about all these directions. But when I'm spinning it, depending on where in the spin I let go of it, I can get it to go up, I can get it to go sideways, I can get it to go that way. I guess I could get it to go down, but I've never tried that because it's probably just going to hit your feet. But what we're going to try and do is try and throw it up, re-catch it. Or you can throw it to the other hand, but a nice one is if you can throw it up and get it back into that spin. Or throw it across to the other hand. But see, I'll show you the difference between, like, we can do a nice floaty throw. Or if we can, so think about it's almost when the ring is going down, if I want it to go that way, it's down, I try and throw it, by the time I let go of it, it goes that way. If I let go of it as I'm going up here, the force then takes it up. So, if I take my finger out as I go to the right, I get that nice little pop. Now, if I let go of it as it's going, my finger is going down, you get a nice little dynamic throw there, so you can go. Make sure you do watch out for your flatmate's computer, lamps, glassware. Make sure you prepare your area first, that you're not going to smash. It's juggling, not smash your house. Cool. So from there, throw. So could even get 2 going on, and you could throw 1 up. So yeah, there's lots of stuff you can play with. I'll try that one again because that felt good. I haven't really trained this, but hey, switch. That's you using the nice lofty throw first, free that hand up, and then using the fast one. Now you don't have to catch it on your fingers all the time. Remember, you can catch in your hands, but hopefully that gives you a nice little something to play with. And I did have a couple of more things from Joe that I want to share with you. Well, this one, grind. So if you throw 1 ring, put as much backspin on it as you can, so you can get a nice little grind going on. It's really cool. You can even try that from not as much speed as I'd like on that one. So, but yeah, so we've got our grind. I like to do this under my arm. No real reason though, you can just do it from there. Bye bye ring. So now you're asking, why are you showing me this grind? Couple of steps, we'll come back to it. So 2 rings. If you've got 2 rings, split your rings like this. We're going to try and do a split throw. Okay? So if I throw both rings, I hold them normally. I guess they split a little bit depending on, or is that just my force of habit? But what we're going to try and do is, instead of holding our rings flat like this, we're going to offset them slightly, okay? So the ring that's closer to me is sticking a little bit further out that way. And I'm going to hold the rings like this. So what I want you to see is my thumb is a little bit on this one and a lot on this one, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull across my body. So the rings are that way, not that way. I'm going to pull them across my body. And when I let go of the rings, this one that I'm only holding a little bit, it's going to go up. The other one I'm going to hold for a little bit longer, just because, my thumb's on it more. That's going to pull it across sideways. So I'm going to try and split my catch. So we're really trying to get that nice difference in them, that one floats up and one gets pulled sideways. So see if you can get that to happen, so you can go whoosh, boom, boom. Nice split, okay? So once again, that comes from the thumb grip. So the thumb is more on this one, than this one. And that's really going to try and split those rings up. Alright? Then, when you get the hang of that, you can go. You can do what now? So that was, I split them. This one that you're holding a little bit floats up. The one that you're holding more, it gets pulled across. So you can catch that while this one's still floating. Bring it under for that grind. Pretty much one of the coolest things I can do with a ring. Thank you, Joe, for that. And then you can do this with 3 rings. The other one just ends up in your hand, but if you want to be a fancy pants, you can combine that with the little finger spin that we did before. Let's try that again. You see there's something there. I haven't tidied it up enough, but there's loads to play with. And, you can even do this with 4 rings. So, splitting them all a little bit. And smash! No, give me. Actually, if you go check out my Instagram, I did this trick for Trick-a-Day May last night. So it'll look better on there. So if you go to Mr. Wazowski on Instagram, and if you check in my highlights of my stories, I've been saving all of my Trick-a-Day May tricks in there. So you can have a look in there. You'll be able to see me do that a bit better. But yeah, that is some ring stuff to play with. If you want anything else, I'm going to give you pancakes. Just one last one, because still got a little bit of time. So, you want, for your pancake throw, you want to try and make your hand as flat as possible. And so pancake is, instead of spinning it that way, we're trying to get it to flip like a pancake. Which actually, I made some pancakes this morning. Sourdough pancakes. Side note, if you want sourdough advice, hit me up. Or, I'm not an expert at that yet, but I'd love to talk bread. Made some pizza dough for this evening. Ooh, lordy. Bacon. Anyway, the pancake throw. I'm getting very sidetracked. So, our idea is we're trying to spread our hand as wide as possible to try and help that spin flat. What we don't want is this. Yep. So nice flat spins. Flat spin. Flat spin. So try and keep your wrist. Your wrist can help with that flick. If you want it faster, if you want it higher, push up more. pancakes are cool but tricky. If you can get some nice doubles going on or triples. But yes, that can lead to, the pancake can lead to a nice onto the head or a double. And yeah, I think that's me. I think I've covered everything. So, as normal, thanks for watching. Let you know, Saturday the 9th of May, so tomorrow, if you're watching this on Friday the 7th, we are doing a fundraiser for the Circus Hub. So we're doing a raw telethon. So check that out. We've got all the details on our Facebook. It's going to be 6 hours of great fun. So make sure you check that out. Check out our other classes. And thanks for checking in. I'm Michael. You guys have been great. Thanks for watching.